it's 5:32 p.m. We're called to order. It's October 18th, 2021. And this will be the Monroe County Council's first reading of the 2022 budgets this evening. And so welcome everybody. We'll cover budgets for the Monroe Fire Protection District, the Monroe Solid Waste Management District, and of course, Monroe County. And let's make sure that we have on record by voice all of our members present for the evening. So council members, please unmute your mics as I call the roll here to ensure that we have a quorum. Mr. Deckard. And as I indicated earlier, he will be joining us a little bit later. Ms. Hawk.
Present.
Mr. Iverson.
Here.
Mr. McKim.
Here.
Ms. Munson.
Here.
And Ms. Wiltz.
Here.
Okay, so we've got all but Mr. Deckard, and we'll make sure that we recognize him when he joins the meeting a little bit later this evening. So we'll move on to item 2, which is adoption of our agenda this evening. Do we have any council members who would like to modify or change our agenda this evening? It's on the Monroe County government website. It's posted there, so if anybody needs to see that, that's where they can access our agenda for first reading of the budget this evening. Do we have any changes that council members would like to make to our agenda? All right, seeing none from council, we'll see if there's any public comment on the agenda. Do we have any public comment on the agenda this evening? All right, seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote to accept and approve the agenda.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Wiltz,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Munson.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay, very good. So we'll move on now to item 3. So we'll have some discussion and potential amendments to the 2022 Monroe County budget. I guess I'll open it up and see if there's anything that staff needs to make us aware of prior to getting this discussion started. Michelle?
Let's see. What I wanted to, the notes that are on there is from the discussion that we had on the October 12th meeting. So I put into that we need to decrease the juvenile per diems in the commissioners fund, as well as the per diem amounts in the courts with regards to juvenile detention. And that's a request to decrease those funds.
Got it.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion if that's okay.
Sure.
Council, I move to approve and open for further discussion Fund 4903-0068 Juvenile Per Diems Commissioners and set account line 30006 from $300,000 to 0 and account line 40001 from $300,000 to 0 for a total 0 budget in all categories for 2022.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on Ms. Wiltz's, or we have motion and a second on the motion there. We'll see if there's any questions on this. I know that we had intended to get some feedback from the courts as well as Judge Galvin and Ms. Tevenow. Did we receive any of that yet? Do we have any feedback on that? Yes, Ms. Munson.
So I was able to speak today with Victoria Seveno, Director of YSB, and she was aware of this because she had read the budget, and I briefly explained. And I believe she was going to contact Council Attorney Margie Rice. And I don't know any more other than that small bit of information.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Hi, Ms. Rice.
I did talk to Vicki Tavernow today. One of her concerns was she wanted to make sure that we could keep a detail in the general fund budget showing how her revenue is coming in, because she bills and she gets this revenue, and so she wants to be able to make sure she continues to do her accounting. So I have reached out to the auditor's office. Kim and I talked about that. Revenues are something the auditor keeps track of. So I have an email into the auditor's office to check that. And I don't know if Kathy Smith is on this call tonight or not, but if she is, she might want to weigh in on that. The other thing is, Ms. Tavernow, just want to make sure that the research previously done by Michael Flory that showed that these funds could be used for any general fund purpose was accurate. I believe that it is. I don't know if you guys have any historical knowledge of that or want to weigh in on that. Jeff McKim may have some memory of that. But Kim and I talked about it, and we've been using it for any general fund purpose, and I think it's absolutely fine. So those were her two comments, but she absolutely understood the need to dissolve this fund.
Got it. Very good. Any other comments or questions from council members on this motion? Yeah, Mr. McKim.
Only that I do agree with Ms. Rice that this fund, as both by statute and by local ordinance, can be used for any lawful purpose of county government that the general fund can be used for. And so it doesn't serve any function to be segregated.
Great. Ms. Hawk?
Yes, I'm happy that we're moving forward with this, and it should be absolutely kept in accounting such that we will know and that YSB will know what the revenue is, and make sure that we know when we put it in miscellaneous revenue about what it should be. And this just it takes it right back where it started out years ago. It was in that miscellaneous revenue. And so I think it's the absolute right thing to do. And a lot easier bookkeeping rather than trying to say, well, what can we move over to that fund? It was superfluous.
Got it. Thank you. And we'll see if, I don't know if Auditor Smith wants to make any statements as well. I do see her as being here as an attendee. We'll just check and see. If not, that's totally fine. Looks like we may need to promote her to a panelist.
Or the financial director, if she's here.
Or, yeah, and it looks like Ms. Gregory is here with us as well. All right, so our auditor, as well as our financial director in the auditor's office, is joining us. Welcome both.
In a moment, they're.
Can you hear me?
Sure can, yes. Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't a panelist, so I couldn't weigh in. But Bree looked into this earlier, and I thought she got back with Kim and sent the email. I'm sorry if you guys, I thought you guys all got it. But anyway, so what we're looking at is what we like to call dormant funds. And that's the way the State Board of Accounts looks at something. If money for an intended purpose sits there and doesn't get used, or the purpose of that fund evaporates and there's money left over, then the money can be moved to the general fund on a dormant, as a dormant set of funds. And then you use it for any purpose the general fund uses it for. So you can move the general fund, you can move it to rainy day. We're not going to say what you should use it for, because the auditor doesn't do that. Those are your guys's prerogatives, but any fund that doesn't get used for 3 years should be declared dormant by the auditor and moved to the general fund. So I will tell you, unless you want to do something else with that money along those lines, that is the perfect use for it.
All right. Thank you, Auditor Smith. Looks like Mr. McKim has his hand up. Yes, sir.
I think the question is more, will the revenue be put into a specific revenue line that can then be identified as being from these per diem, so that Ms. Tevenot can then reconcile her receipts or her billings, I guess, from the for the per diems against what's actually received by the county?
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Have I been demoted?
No,
Demoted?
you're good.
Okay, so what happens is once we establish something in our financial system, it stays forever. So the tracking of that never disappears. Now, I don't know, most of you weren't on the council, but I think Jeff remembers when the state moved the welfare department, probably shouldn't call it welfare, family services, when they moved them to state and away from the county tax dollars. When that happened, we separated that money and we tracked that money because Marty wanted to make absolutely sure it was used sort of for those intended purposes. And I think maybe Cheryl was on there, but I know Jeff and Marty were there, and John Arnold helped too. We still even tried to capture as much money as we could to get it back into the general fund. So tracking is not going to be an issue. We will work with youth services and make sure it will be tracked however you guys want to track it. But I'm talking about the future use of that money. So receipts can still be receipted in. That money can be declared dormant and moved back if you're talking about receipts, as that was the word that you used. However, the tracking, the financials of all that money, all those funds will forever be there. So I hope that answers your question. If not, I can expand.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Hawk.
Okay, well, I'm wondering if there's some confusion about which fund, because I remember when there was money left over from that welfare fund and it was called levy excess. I believe that was the term they used of that welfare budget. And we moved that up into a separate, all by itself, fund rainy day. And it was established it could only be used, and with more than just a simple majority of the council okaying it to be used for youth purposes. This is not that fund. What we're talking about is that separate fund. It used to be in county general under miscellaneous, and it was called county home or something such as that. And then we determined we wanted to try to save back some money to help the youth services, that's to redo the building and whatever. And so we saved the money from that fund, and we saved the money from the previous fund I just talked about from the welfare, and put those together and was able to build on to that youth shelter without passing a bond. Now that has happened, and there's no longer a necessity or any reason to have it separate. And indeed, the State Board of Accounts says it is acting like a rainy day fund, and you are not allowed to have two rainy day funds. And so since we're looking to that to try to help us balance our general fund budget, and in general, we're trying to make sure that we have revenue to provide much needed increases in salaries for many of our employees. We just thought, why are we going through all this? Why not just put it back there where it had been for decades and leave it there? So we need to move the money over, but we also need to move the anticipated revenue over there into miscellaneous revenue. And then voila, we're done.
Oh, okay, so let me address that for a second. Anytime we get money into the county, when we receipt it in, we have a great explanation of what that money is. So I don't want you to think that it will just get combined in a lump sum and we'll never be able to track it. That is not true. When we needed to work on on fixing up the youth services and center. And then we knew that the welfare department was leaving and that money had been earmarked. And I don't know how much the newer council members know, but it was a tremendous amount of money. And the money came back because John Arnold and we would go after reimbursements. We just purposely went after reimbursements, after reimbursements, after reimbursements. And he was very instrumental in helping us get a substantial amount of money. And once we got that money we earmarked for kids, because that's what the county council wanted us to do, because we knew we had a need. We could have went a couple different directions with that, but the need was there. So it was very, very obvious the will of the county council. At this time, you guys have to decide what your will is. If your will is to put it in the general fund because it's one-time money, then I'm going to do that. If your will is to do something different, whatever you guys talk amongst yourself and decide how you want to use that money, I don't pick that. All I do is track it and make sure there's no certain rules associated with it. And if there are, share those rules with you, right? But as far as knowing where the root of the money comes, of course, we're going to know exactly where it comes from and make sure it goes into the right area.
Okay, thank you. Michelle, did you have?
I think what I want to do is clarify that Ms. Stabenow wants to make sure that a receipt account line is dedicated in the general fund so that she can easily track her revenues that come in.
Yeah.
So I believe with the email that Bree sent earlier, that will happen. We have those mechanisms in place and she will be able to reconcile easily. So
good.
There won't be, yes, it will all be in the general fund, but it will be separated out per a revenue account.
We're able to easily do that. Okay, good.
Well, I want to make sure that you guys don't think that the general fund's not one pot of money. It is absolutely one pot of money with lots of receipt lines. So if you think it's going to be setting aside by itself, that is not the case. It is one giant pot of money with lots of receipt lines. We track the money in by those receipt lines.
Mr. McKim?
Yes, what Kim said, and yes, we are well aware of how the general fund works. Let's vote, please.
I'm ready to do that. Let's see if we have any public comment. There's nothing further from council. Doesn't appear so. So we'll take a roll call vote. Please, Ms. Miller.
Councilor Munson,
Yes.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Wiltz,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Council, I move to open for discussion and approval Fund 4903-0225 Juvenile Per Diems Courts and set account line 32218 Juvenile Detention from $300,000 to zero for a total zero budget in all categories for 2022.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Do we have any additional discussion on this motion, Michelle, or any council members?
I just want to say that, the courts have this set up in their budget for the per diems, and per your request, I'm just asking that it be removed at this time.
Okay. All right, anything from council? Questions, comments? Is there any public comment? Ms. Hawk, did you have, sounds like, looks like you may have something to say.
I probably missed some of that. I was sort of going, what's going on here? We do have a spot set up to pay that, to have a $300,000 available to pay the juvenile detention, right?
We currently have it in the per diem. I'm asking that the council remove it, and then it's going to be moved into the general fund courts budget, but we haven't got to that point yet.
Oh, okay. Am I trying to skip ahead? Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
That's
okay.
the next item.
I don't have the agenda in front of me. I don't have my double screen yet.
That's okay. All right. Any other questions from council? Do we have any public comment? All right, seeing none, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor McKim,
Yes.
Counselor Munson.
You're still muted.
I said yes already.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Motion passed unanimously.
Okay.
Council, I move to open for discussion and approval Fund 1000-0225 General Fund Courts and add account line 32218 Juvenile Detention and set that line at $300,000 and reset the service category to $688,322.
Second.
All right. Any information that you'd like to share with us here, Ms. Shell?
No, this is just per your request. I'm moving it back into the general fund with the same account line. And then that's going to bring the services category in that department up to that amount. So I just need approval to move forward with that.
A lot of accounting here. Ms. Hawk, did you have your hand up?
No, I'm just happy we're finally going to do it.
All right. Well, this was, and I appreciate your suggestion from the previous meeting, and we're able to all kind of work together here to get this done. So thank you very much. Any other questions from council or comments? Any public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Counselor Wiltz,
Yes.
Counselor Iverson,
Yes.
Counselor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Counselor Munson,
Yes.
Counselor Hawk,
Yes.
Counselor McKim.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
Council, I move to open for discussion and approval Fund 1000-0061 General Fund Council and increase account line 30006 contractual from $30,000 to $60,000 and reset the service category to $219,787. Also, increase the line 17801 part-time hourly from $24,700 to $45,084 and increase line 18101 FICA from $16,178 to $17,737 and reset the personnel category to $364,031.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, and just to kind of follow up on that motion, the increase in the contractual from 30,000 to 60,000 reflects some of what I had discussed at our previous council meeting regarding support for the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation. Of course, this will be kind of a placeholder, and but I want us to all kind of be thinking about items that we might want to include in that memorandum of understanding for the economic development services that I think are going to be really, really important for the county to be investing in, particularly as we're looking at some of the effects of annexation. Also, the part-time hourly increase and FICA increase, that's reflective of, I think, what was a very productive and successful intern program that we had last year in the council office, and would certainly like to see that extended. I think it provides some great opportunities for those young folks who are eager and very interested in learning about local government And I'm proud that we're able to provide those opportunities, and provides a lot of great value and service to us as well too. So that's some of the background on that. Any questions or comments from council? Yes, Mr. McKim.
I am strongly in support of both of these changes, and particularly excited that I think we're going to step up our game in supporting local economic development. And I think this is going to be something that the whole, we're obviously going to need to develop a memorandum of understanding outlining expectations and measures and that sort of thing. And I think that's something that the whole council will want to have the chance to have input in. And I suspect all of us will have some things that we'd like to see in there. I know I've heard from a couple of you. I know Ms. Wiltz had a couple of thoughts about what would be important to have in that kind of agreement. And I know others have too. So that's definitely, I hope everybody supports this appropriation.
Thank you, Mr. McKim. Ms. Hawk.
Yes, I just really support this, and I believe that it's the most economical way to go about getting both of those things that's a part of this discussion. At one time, many years ago, we had a person in the commissioner's office for economic development. Well, then you have to make the space, and it was a lot more money. And because they didn't have the kind of staff that that would be needed to assist us. So this is a real win for us to get this kind of support for this kind of money. And then also, as far as the intern that we last had, we could not have been more blessed. That young man is, as you all know, I like to brag on him because I saw him grow up and saw him be very involved and a hard worker and brilliant. So now if we could just get somebody else like that again, that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Hawk. Any other questions or comments from council? Ms. Wiltz.
I don't have much new to add. I just wanted to express my sincere support of both of these as well. I think for the reasons already stated by others on council, I'll definitely be supporting these. And I'm a little concerned though, because I had assumed that Marty had like a whole line of amazingly qualified intern candidates just ready to feed us. And now I don't know. He was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. He would be hard to beat, but send people our way, I guess.
All right. And thank you, Ms. Wiltz. Any other comments or questions from council? All right. We'll see if there's any public comment. Does not appear so. And we'll take a roll call vote, please.
Councilor Munson,
Yes.
Councilor McKim,
Yes.
Councilor Hawk,
Yes.
Councilor Spoonmore,
Yes.
Councilor Iverson,
Yes.
Councilor Wiltz.
Yes.
Motion passed unanimously.
All right, very good. I think that concludes everything for item 3. And now we'll move on to item 4, first reading of the 2022 budget. And we have item A up first.
Okay, so I think that's me. This is for the Monroe Fire Protection District. Council, I move approval, or I move for, sorry, Council, I'm reading for the first time ordinance number 2021-46. Be it ordained by the Monroe County Council that for the expenses of Monroe Fire Protection District for the year ending December 31st, 2022, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expense of Monroe Fire Protection District, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Monroe County Council for the following funds: 8603 Special Fire General with an adopted budget of $12,442,748, an adopted tax levy of $7,928,116, and an adopted tax rate of 28.38 cents. Fund Code 8691 Special Cumulative Fire for an adopted budget of $913,758, an adopted tax levy of $989,022, and an adopted tax rate of 3.33 cents. For an total adopted budget of $13,356,506, adopted tax levy of $8,917,138, and an adopted tax rate of 31.71 cents. Read for the first time.
And that was a motion. Is that a motion?
No, it's just
No,
a first
no,
reading.
Okay.
We're just doing a first reading. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. So thank you, Mr. McKim. And I know we have some representatives from the Fire Protection District, and we may want to have them promoted as panelists just in case we need any comments from them. So that would be Chief Dillard. And I'm guessing Lori, Ms. Robinson is Lori as well. So just in case, and we'll see if there's any further discussion on this. Do we have any discussion from council regarding the first reading? And well, it doesn't appear that we do. And we'll see if there's any public comment. Do you have any public comment? All right, does not appear so. So first reading, that will conclude that portion of our agenda this evening, and we'll move on to the next item. Sorry for our representatives from the Fire Protection District. It doesn't appear that we have a need for any presentation this evening. So thank you for being here, though. Really appreciate it.
I think we're ready for Councilor Munson.
Yep. For the Solid Waste Management District, we'll move on now to item B of 4B.
Councilor Munson, you're muted.
Council. This is the first reading of ordinance 2021-47, Monroe County Solid Waste Management District 2022 budget. Be it ordained by the Monroe County Council that for the expenses of Monroe County Solid Waste Management District for the year ending December 31st, 2022, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of the several funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided by law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of the Monroe County Solid Waste Management District, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Monroe County Council. There are three funds. Fund 1215, non-reverting capital projects, adopted budget 0, adopted tax levy 0, adopted tax rate 0. Fund 8210, special solid waste management, adopted budget 2,826,560, adopted tax levy $1,994,609, adopted tax rate 2.98 cents. Fund 8283, solid waste district debt service, adopted budget $305,520, adopted tax levy $290,000, adopted tax rate 0.43 cents, for a total adopted budget of $3,132,080, an adopted tax levy of $2,284,609, and an adopted tax rate of 3.41 cents. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Munson. And let's see if we have any discussion on the first reading of ordinance 2021-47, Monroe County Solid Waste Management District's 2022 budget. Do we have any questions or comments from council? Yes, Ms. Hawk.
Yes, my comment is that with solid waste, there's always, as many of these budgets are, a lot of estimates about what their revenue will be. They're counting on the revenue being a certain amount. And we don't know, and they don't really know what that's going to be. So I just know that Ms. Munson will keep a close eye on it. And if the revenue isn't coming in, they simply won't be able to meet their budget. But it is, I think it's one of the tight ones.
So I've been on the board of directors of the Solid Waste Management District for, this is my 9th year. And but the first time I've ever read this during one of our budget presentations. And Ms. Hawk is absolutely correct. We operate from estimates with the Solid Waste District. And we also do this with other aspects of county government. We have to keep a close eye always. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Munson, and appreciate your service on the board. 9 years is a very good tenure there, so thank you. A lot of experience. Okay, any other questions or comments from council? Let's see if there's any public comment on the first reading. The Solid Waste Management District budget. Does not appear that there is, so that will conclude item 4B on our agenda this evening. And next up will be item 4C.
Now the fun.
Yeah.
Council, this is the first reading of ordinance 2021-48, Monroe County 2022 budget. Be it ordained by the Monroe County Council that for expenses of Monroe County for the year ending December 31, 2022, the sums herein specified are hereby appropriated and ordered set apart out of the several funds herein named, and for the purpose herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Such sums herein appropriated shall be held to include all expenditures authorized to be made during the year, unless otherwise expressly stipulated and provided for by the law. In addition, for the purposes of raising revenue to meet the necessary expenses of Monroe County, the property tax levies and property tax rates as herein specified are included herein. Budget Form 4B for all funds must be completed and submitted in the manner prescribed by the Department of Local Government Finance. This ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by the Monroe County Council. The following funds are included. Fund 0101 General with an adopted budget of $40,780,266. Adopted tax levy of $20,959,932, and adopted tax rate of 25.07 cents. Fund 0102, election registration, with adopted budget $1,358,516. Adopted tax levy $756,481. Adopted tax rate of 0.9 cents. 0124, the 2015 reassessment, with an adopted budget of $832,577. Adopted tax levy of $903,966. Adopted tax rate of 1.08 cents. Fund 0180, debt service, with $0 in the budget, a 0 tax levy, and 0 tax rate. Fund 0183, bond number 3, with a budget of $3,500,000, adopted tax levy $3,500,000, and the tax rate of 4.19 cents. Fund 0254, local income tax, within a budget of $3,030,687 and $0 as a tax levy and 0 tax rate. Fund 0616, Convention and Visitors Bureau, adopted budget $2,129,687. Tax levy is 0, tax rate is 0. Fund 0702, Highway, $6,135,275, 0 tax levy, 0 tax rate. Fund 0703, Highway Special, adopted budget 0, tax levy 0, tax rate 0. 0706, Local Road and Street, budget of $570,000, tax levy 0, tax rate 0. Fund 0790, Cumulative Bridge, with an adopted budget of $1,834,016, tax levy $1,780,761, tax rate of 2.13 cents. Fund 0792, County Major Bridge, adopted budget $2,500,000, adopted tax levy $2,784,006, adopted tax rate 3.33 cents. Fund 0801, Health, adopted budget $1,735,103, adopted tax levy $1,168,927, adopted tax rate of 1.4 cents. Fund 1310, Park Non-Reverting Capital, with an adopted budget of $60,000 and adopted tax levy of 0 and tax rate of 0. Fund 2102, Aviation Airport, adopted budget $1,257,084, adopted tax levy $792,344, adopted tax rate 0.95 cents. Fund 2391, Cumulative Capital Development, with an adopted budget of $3,919,852, adopted tax levy $2,784,600, adopted tax rate of 3.33 cents. In these funds, the total comes to $69,643,063 for the adopted budget. And the total adopted tax levy then is $35,430,423. And the total adopted tax rate is 42.38 cents. Oh, but there's more. Homeworld Funds, include Fund 9500, extradition and sheriff's assistance, with an adopted budget of $1,219. Fund 9501, Surveyor's Corner Perpetuation Fund, $123,209 is the adopted budget. Fund 9502, Juvenile Per Diem, $0. Fund 9503, Monroe County 911 Fund, $1,345,000 in adopted budget. Fund 9504, Monroe County Convention Center Debt, adopted budget $636,000. Fund 9505, Auditors and Eligible Deductions, $260,619. Fund 9508, User Fee Jury Pay, $24,500. Fund 9509, User Fees Juvenile Probation, $18,883. Fund 9510, User Fees Adult Probation, $317,813. Fund 9511, User Fees Project Income Job, $491,640. Fund 9512, Supplemental PD Services, $1,086,640. Fund 9513, Clerk's Record Perpetuation, $127,560. Fund 9514, User Fees Diversion and Prosecution, I think is what that means, $151,659. Fund 9515, User Fees Court Alcohol and Drug, $176,380. Fund 9516, Local Health Maintenance, $181,222. Fund 9517, Emergency Planning, Right to Know, $10,150. 9519, Misdemeanor County Corrections, $24,800. 9521, Alternative Dispute Resolution, $14,700. 9522, Sales Disclosure County Share, $58,628. Fund 9523, Convention Visitors Capital Improvement and Maintenance, $100,000. Fund 9524, County Offender Transportation, $3,000. Fund 9525, Local Health Department Trust Account, $65,148. Fund 9526, User Fees Probation Problem Solving Courts, $50,507. Fund 9527, West Side Economic Development, Richland Township, TIF, $1,967,635. Fund 9528, 46, Corridor Economic Development, Bloomington Township, TIF, $330,088. Fund 9529, Fullerton Pike Economic Development, TIF, $377,500. Fund 9530, Plat Book, $144,759. Fund 9531, Convention Center Operating, $574,688. Fund 9532, User Fees Cable Franchise, $395,451. Fund 9535, PSAP Interlocal, Public Safety Access Point, I believe, $2,913,930. Fund 9536, one is 1106, Animal Control Fines and Fees, with $0. Fund 9543, which is 4906, Public Health Emergency Fund, is $20,000. Fund 9544, Identification Security Protection, $11,500. Fund 9548, 1179, Parks Non-Reverting Operating, is $0. 9551, which is 1189 Recorders Perpetuation Fund, $0. Fund 9552, Stormwater Management, $2,324,797. Fund 9556, which is 1208, Vehicle Inspections, VIN check fees, $0. Fund 9559, County Elected Officials Training, $20,000. Fund 9564, which is 4009, Sheriff Sale Fund, $0. Fund 9569, which is 4801, Aviation Construction Fund, $0. Fund 9570, which is 4802, Aviation Building Fund, $0. Fund 9571, Public Safety Lit. Local income tax, $3,568,992. Fund 9588, Federal Award Title 4D, $50,844. That concludes the first reading of the Monroe County budget.
Sorry about that. Very nicely done, Ms. Wiltz. All right. So let's see if we have any questions or comments from council. It looks like Ms. Hawk has her hand up first. Yes.
Just going, and this is on the local home rule funds. I went over those today. We didn't get them until today with all the information on it. So many of them show negative balances. So what I would perhaps they're just not entering the revenue as yet, and they just put this together and left us with that. But there's several that I think we really need to keep an eye on. And if they really are as short as it appears on some of them, if you take several of them and they start running short, then what to do? But there's just several that's really pretty high.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get some clarification on that for sure, and we can check with staff. Mr. McKim, did you have a question or a comment?
Oh, yeah, just that it is clear that in a lot of those home ruled funds, the revenues haven't been entered. So for example, I saw that on the, I was one of the TIF districts, maybe the North Park State Road 46 TIF. I think the revenues have not been entered.
Right.
Not been entered for the cable franchise fees, for the per diems for that matter, which hopefully we're getting away from. But
stormwater.
There are a number of those that the revenues weren't fully, weren't entered.
Got it. Ms. Hawk, did that help clarify?
Right. I felt sure that was the case, although some of them have been entered and still show a negative balance, just things that the smaller ones. So we'll just, as we go along, they may be estimating their revenue and set a balance, and now their revenue is not going to be high enough. But some of the bigger ones, I think the adult probation, let me see, it was the adult
User fees?
User fees, that was quite a bit. 412,000. Right?
Yeah, I recall that one being higher.
Yeah, so I just think if anybody wants to look at all you people that turn in your revenue, look to see if those 4Bs represent what you think it's supposed to be. And
Mr. McKim?
Yeah, project income is the one you're talking about, and that is clearly the revenue is not entered in that at all. So the revenue is showing as zero in that fund. And so it does show a large negative balance. There's, some of those smaller probation funds too, they're well aware that they only, they get appropriations and then only spend them if the revenues come in. So for example, one of them was, I don't remember, is one of the other probation, maybe special purpose courts. I think that's probably not the right word, but
Problem solving court.
problem solving court. Sorry, that was one of them. The salaries are only a tiny bit. There's a little part-time salaries, but the rest of it is travel and training and supplies and other things that they only buy if the revenue's there. So, and that they've told us that year after year.
Got it. Thank you, Mr. McKim. Ms. Hawk, did you have?
Well, I didn't see anything entered for cable franchise. Did you mention that, Councilmember McKim?
I did. Yes, that's one of the ones I noticed.
I mean, I just went through and I've got 3 pages of, they're short. So I just want the public to know that we aren't just hiding our head in the sand with this. We recognize it. And we also know that these dollars can't be spent if it doesn't come in these local home rule funds.
Mm-hmm. Yep, very good. Ms. Wilkes.
I'm just curious, is there a deadline or a specific period of time by which things must be reconciled in terms of updating these funds? Or is it just we're kind of constantly keeping up and managing and checking in?
Mr. McKim?
No, I think Councilor Hawk has a comment too.
I'm just saying on each of them, there should be an estimate of anticipated revenues entered and not just left blank. It might not be right because all of county government we're working on estimates, but there should be something entered there. So maybe they just didn't get it all done yet.
I mean, is it something that by the end of the year it will surely all be? I mean, I just don't know.
It's not required for the home ruled funds. I mean, that's the thing. The requirements are different for the less stringent, and so there's just simply less scrutiny on those. But I mean, I agree. If for some of those, if we have a decent estimate of the revenue, it ought to be entered in there because it certainly makes our jobs easier. Cable franchise fee is a perfect example of that. We pretty much know what that's going to be based on the past.
Ms. Hawk?
Now, I can't answer, your questions because I don't deal with the revenue. So, that might be something Bree can bring to you at a later date.
I feel like she's probably explained something similar to me before. Thank you.
Ms. Hawk?
I wasn't expecting Michelle that she doesn't do the 4Bs, correct?
I assist with some of the information, but I don't have the access to the revenues.
Right.
Okay. So as Ms. Hawk stated earlier, if the revenues aren't there, we can't spend the money. So.
And I do want to say that I know that the auditor's office does audit the funds when things come in. So, I mean, if as well as like the claims administrator, so if there is a short in that fund, they always, contact the department head and they're always on it. So, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. McKim.
There are a couple other big ones that I remember the PSAP interlocal and the 911 fund both show no revenues. So they both show, on paper, multi-million-dollar deficits. But of course, we know that's not the case because we know that the revenue comes in and we know that it more than covers the budget. But that information probably should be entered.
Yeah, I think what was that, like 1.3 million or something?
Two.
2.5 for the interlocal. The E911
Yeah,
may have been 1 point something million.
okay. All right, any other, yeah, Ms. Hawk?
Just as a reminder, even though the state may not require this information, we need it because we're voting on saying we believe these budgets will work. So, I mean, I know that sometimes you really, you're making estimates, but to the extent we can, hopefully in future, we'll be able to have the 4Bs more fully filled out. So we'll feel confident when we are voting on these things.
Duly noted, thank you. All right, anything further from council? Is there any, do we want to go back, so that we've kind of talked about the home rule funds, is there anything else on the county budget that we would like to discuss for the first reading here? Is there any public comment? All right, doesn't appear so. So that will conclude the first reading for the Monroe County 2022 budget. And yeah, I'm sorry.
I apologize. Can I just ask one quick question? Do the numbers that we read, particularly for the general fund, did they include those changes we made earlier?
Yeah, that's what I wondered.
I literally was just going to ask that.
Okay, it does include, because Bree and I kind of anticipated the per diem. So that's why the per diem in the home rule fund was 0. And we had moved everything into the general fund. So the 300,000 for the juvenile detention is included, but the amounts for the contractual and the personnel is not. So those will need to be updated, and then you can reread them tomorrow.
Okay, so the council budget is the part that,
Yeah.
that those totals are not included. Okay,
Correct.
that's good. Thank you.
Then that's all legal,
Everything
that'll be
else.
fine, okay. Okay.
Yes, everything else is current and up to date.
Okay, Ms. Hawk?
Yes, on your 4B, will we include an amount there for where the juvenile per diems were coming in, so that we'll have I'd like to have an idea of what we're projecting that revenue to be.
That would probably need to be a Bree question.
Right.
Bree,
I'm
are you-
just saying, maybe we're not going to get that done in time, but I think we need to have some kind of projection. And it will be hard for them to do because the year before, when was not being as active. And then in this year, they've had pretty much full house, the last report they'd given us.
Bree's available to answer.
I'm Gregory.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I thought if you didn't mind, I would just jump in for a moment.
Thank you.
So my understanding is, like Marty mentioned, we are not, I think it was Marty, we are not required to enter revenue information for the home rule funds. However, as you also mentioned, Ms. Hawk, you seem to need it. So I will be happy to do so. I'll put estimates in for those funds. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Did we, Bree, did we enter the miscellaneous of the juvenile per diem into the general? Had we done that yet, or did we just move the expenditure?
I've slept since then, Kim. I'm gonna have to take a look. I apologize. I don't want to misspeak, so I'm just gonna have to look and get back with you on that.
I don't think you have. I think that probably still needs, because I'm not even sure we know what that. I don't know that any of us have ever actually received that information yet to even put in as miscellaneous to the general. So,
yeah. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that's been done yet, but that will be.
Yeah, we'll take a look, and particularly on that one, we'll make sure we have good information, and once we have the estimates, we'll get it in there.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anything else, Ms. Hawk? Okay. All right, and so anything further from council? Okay, so I think that will then conclude item 4C on our agenda, and of course we'll have final adoption. We'll kind of do this again tomorrow night. We'll actually vote on these budgets for final adoption. Okay. Next up is item 5, salary ordinance.
All right, council. This is the first reading of ordinance 2021-49A, which is the 2022 elected official salary ordinance, an ordinance adopting Monroe County, Indiana salary schedule and compensation policies. Whereas the Indiana legislature adopted Indiana Code 36-2-3 et sec, which established the Monroe County Council as the governing fiscal body of Monroe County, and whereas IC 36-2-5-3 grants the Monroe County Council the power to 1, fix the number of officers, deputies, and other employees, 2, describe and classify positions and services, 3, adopt schedules of compensation, and 4, hire or contract with persons to assist in the development of schedules and compensation. And whereas the Monroe County Council wishes to establish compensation schedules and pay policies, now be it ordained by the Monroe County Council of Indiana that this ordinance affixes the number and compensation for elected officials of the county from the period of January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2022, whose salary is composed of funds payable from any county fund or budget as provided by IC 36-2-5 et sec, are hereby solidly fixed, and the following maximum level of salary is shown on the salary compensation grids. All payments made pursuant to this ordinance are contingent upon the strict compliance with and adherence to the benefit, compensation, fiscally related, and state and federally mandated requirements of the Monroe County Personnel Policy Handbook. It is the intent of the County Council that this language will encourage compliance with personnel policies, which may have a fiscal impact on Monroe County government. For elected officials, time worked on or after January 1, 2022, and prior to midnight of December 31, 2022, shall be calculated and paid within the parameters of this salary ordinance and personnel policy handbook, regardless of when the payment is issued. Elected officials shall not receive compensation above the salary range authorized for their position in the, quote, elected official salary compensation grid, end quote. The county auditor shall not issue pay warrants for pay that exceeds the authorized amount specified in the salary ordinance. Compensation amounts listed are an annual appropriation amount. Calculation of the biweekly rate may result in a slight variation and will not be adjusted at year end. Presented to the County Council of Monroe County, Indiana by induction in full for the first time this 18th day of October, 2021.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wiltz. And so, Michelle, tell us what's the difference about this salary ordinance and the previous salary ordinance that we had? It's just the 2% increase. Is that what has changed there? That's incorporated in?
I'm muted.
There is no raises, increases at all to the 2021 salary ordinance moving to 2022. There's nothing, we did not increase the grids. We didn't increase anything because council has yet to make a decision on those.
Is that for elected officials?
This is for everyone across the board.
Okay.
The budgets reflect
Got it. Okay.
increases, but the salary ordinances do not. So
Got it. Okay. And so this is basically status quo from where we were last year, and that is by design because we anticipate that there are going to be some changes coming ahead as we look to introduce some of these changes and recommendations that were given to us by WIS.
Correct.
Large fire truck driving by my house here's not sure what's going on with the neighbors.
Yes. With the in direction from council is that since you had not officially adopted WIS grids recommendations, you haven't officially adopted job descriptions and or or had decided on what to do with regards to elected officials, chief deputies, and SOs. I was asked to just keep the salary ordinance flat, which would keep in step with the 2021. So there's no increases at all.
Got it.
The
Okay.
only thing that did change was the some of the departments during the budget sessions had requested an additional personnel, and those have been added.
And that would be in the next ordinance, next.
The
Right.
next iteration that we,
Yes, the next section. That's the only changes.
Yeah.
So, but as far as salary amounts, nothing changed.
Okay. Got it. And that's reflective of the discussion that we had at the last meeting as well.
Yes. On October the 12th.
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Hawk, did you have a question or a comment?
Oh, is my hand still up? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
I'm not used to, but I do have a question.
Sure.
Michelle, did I see an email saying that WIS had suggested some language changes? And is that in the next one that we're going to read, or should it be included in this one as well? I don't know what that language change is.
Right. And I didn't want to just kind of slap something in there without going over it with Margie first to make sure how to put it in correctly and where it needed to go. So I will be working with her when we go to update. And so you guys will see that information prior to adoption or amendment, I should say, amendment.
Okay, so could I ask you, is it a part of the documents that we would have already received from WIS?
It was in the summary report.
Okay, you could send that to us, and it doesn't mean that's the final wording, but just so that we can see what it is they are concerned about.
Yeah, there's a copy of the summary report in Dropbox that has their recommendations on what needs to be added. So,
okay, if you'll send that out, please, I'd sure appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get that done. Thank you, Ms. Hawk. Mr. McKim.
Yeah, so just to be crystal clear here, this salary ordinance and the next one that we're about to read are placeholders. They're just there because we're legally required to pass a salary ordinance at the same time we adopt a budget. But the intention is to replace these, to amend both of these by the end of this year to be effective next year, once we adopt some variant of the WIS system that has been proposed to us. So these are really just status quo placeholders that we intend to modify before the end of the year.
Yep, absolutely correct. And hopefully that will come sooner rather than later. I'd like to get this done as quickly as we can rather than waiting till the end of the year. But that's the time frame that we have available to us to make these changes, is through the end of this year. Ms. Wells, did you have a comment or a question?
I was going to say what you just said.
Got it. Yes, Ms. Hawk.
Yes, just for the public as well as for employees who might be listening. We just simply did not get the information back in time frame enough from the WIS group in order for us to make informed decisions on this. So I just want everybody to know it isn't that we're trying to duck our responsibility. We just want to know what we're doing. And so, yes, I know there's a lot of people watching to see if they can count
Yeah.
on.
And that's a really good point. It's been a tremendously busy summer, and these last few months with everything that's going on in the county right now, with annexation, a lot of work associated with that, with the criminal justice response work that we're doing and looking at with budgets, and there's just so much going on, and getting information late in the game like we did with this. This doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. We absolutely are, and we're committed to that. And I hope that we have made that very clear in all the previous meetings that we've had talking about these recommendations, that we do intend to go 100% with them. And so that will happen. It's just we've got some deadlines that we had to meet here, as Mr. McKim indicated earlier, and we'll get to that. We'll get to those items soon, within the coming weeks. Anything else from council? All right. Is there any public comment? Okay. Well, that will conclude first reading of the salary ordinance for elected officials. We'll now move on to item 5B.
Council, this is the first reading of ordinance 2021-49B, 2022 salary ordinance, Monroe County employees. Whereas the Indiana legislature adopted Indiana Code 36-2-3 et sec, which established the Monroe County Council as the governing fiscal body of Monroe County, and whereas IC 36-2-3-5-3 grants the Monroe County Council the power to 1, fix the number of officers, deputies, and other employees, 2, describe and classify positions and services, 3, adopt schedules of compensation, and 4, hire or contract with persons to assist in the development of schedules of compensation. Be it ordained by the Monroe County Council of Indiana that this ordinance affixes the number and compensation of employees of the county from the period of January 1, 2022 to December 31, 2022. Including all officers, deputies, assistants, and other employees whose salary is composed of funds payable from any county fund or budget as provided by IC 36-2-5 et sec. This compensation is limited by the following lines and maximum levels of salary shown on the compensation grids. All payments made pursuant to this ordinance are contingent upon the strict compliance with and adherence to the benefit, compensation, fiscally related, and state and federally mandated requirements of the Monroe County Personnel Policy Handbook. It is the intent of the County Council that this language will encourage compliance with personnel policies which may have a fiscal impact on the Monroe County government. Outliers, special occupation employees, highway employees, correctional officers, sheriffs, merit deputies, and probation officers covered under a contractual agreement or whose salaries are determined by a state prescribed rule, order, guideline, or mandate shall not receive compensation above the salary range authorized for their position in their corresponding compensation grids. The county auditor shall not issue pay warrants for any pay that exceeds the authorized amount specified in the salary ordinance. In-grade supervisors whose pay is grandfathered at the maximum salary level may continue to be paid accordingly. However, the pay associated with a position shall revert to the normal pay schedule when the employee whose pay was grandfathered leaves employment with Monroe County or changes positions. No additional pay raises to the maximum salary level shall be granted without specific council approval. It is the policy of the council at the time of the passage of this salary ordinance to limit the maximum salary level rates to the current number of positions only. The council does not wish to allow additional positions to be paid at the maximum rate. The compensation amounts are listed as approximate annual appropriation amounts, and the calculation of the biweekly or hourly compensation rates may result in a slight variation and will not be adjusted at year end. Compensation paid on or after January 1, 2022, and prior to midnight, December 31, 2022, shall be calculated and paid within the parameters of this salary ordinance and the personnel policy handbook, regardless of when the work is performed. Annual salaries for the Monroe County Chief Public Defender, Chief Deputy Public Defender, the Monroe County Sheriff, and the Monroe Circuit Court Commissioner are all tied or related to the salaries mandated by the state of Indiana for the Monroe Circuit Court judges and the Monroe County Prosecutor. The state mandated salaries are amended annually on July 1st. It is the intent and direction of Monroe County Council that any and all salaries paid by the Monroe County Council, which are tied or related to the above mentioned salaries mandated by the state of Indiana, shall be automatically amended at the same time as the state mandated salaries. Monroe County Council recognizes that this is an exception to the general rule for county set salaries, which are generally modified on January 1st. Additional detail, including Defense Services Standards, Standard G, Supreme Court compensation information, Indiana Code 33-39-6-5, and IC 36-2-3-17 are incorporated by reference. Further descriptions, definitions, and/or explanation of the Monroe County government salary schedule and compensation policies are included in this ordinance for the purpose of clarification and transparency. See section Ordinance Notes. Presented to the County Council of Monroe County, Indiana by induction in full for the first time this 18th day of October 2021.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wilkes. And again, this is another status quo salary ordinance. Certainly, we'll see some changes introduced into this over the next weeks as we implement some of the WIS, or hopefully all of the WIS recommendations that were given to us earlier in the year. We'll see if there's any questions or comments from council. And we had a lot of discussion about this on the previous item, but we'll see if there's anything else that we need to cover here. Doesn't appear so. We'll see if there's any public comment. All right. Well, that will conclude first reading of the salary ordinance for 2022 for Monroe County employees. Again, more to come on that in the upcoming weeks. So that should conclude everything for item 5. We'll now move on to item 6, which is council comments. Do you have any council members who'd like to provide some closing remarks prior to adjournment tonight? All right, Ms. Hawk, yes.
Just as a reminder for those folks, if anybody's listening, that wish to participate in the remonstrance process. Is this comments about anything?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. To look for those special dates where you can go to at the fairgrounds. Tonight is one of them. Tomorrow night's another. I don't have that full amount in front of me, but I just would like to encourage everyone to just get it done early rather than late. And the auditor staff is also working with the public to welcome them into the courthouse on that first floor and be prepared to work with folks who wish to fill out the documents for the remonstrance process. And that's going to make a big difference to county government for certain. So, and also, I would like very much to encourage it. Wherever, whatever happened to the FSG documents, the contract to get us information, not going to help us a bunch after we're, finished. I thought we were doing this so we could get some idea from them, what we might expect.
We're looking into that, and thank you for your comments, Councilmember Hawk. We're looking into the FSG report timing as well. And we'll keep you posted. Any other comments or remarks from council members this evening? Okay. Well, thank you all. Seems like we'll get everything wrapped up here, and we'll have our next meeting tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. That will be final adoption for the budget. And at this time, we are adjourned. See you all tomorrow.